What's up YouTube? This is Mark with the Resistance Barbell Club. We're back with another video, and today we've got Laura Lamb with us. She's a bikini competitor with NPC. She's going to tell you a little bit about her workout history and what bikini competition is all about.
My just kind of background in fitness is I was a long distance runner for about 5 years. I liked it, I liked the competitive side of it, but I realized shortly after quitting high school and just coming and trying to do it recreationally that I liked competing more than I did running. So then I found the weight room, kind of started just following random influencer workouts on TikTok, hitting glutes like 5 days a week, thinking I was really doing something.
Yeah, that's common.
Was afraid to hit upper body. I was afraid of getting bulky. And I realized that doesn't happen now.
I hear that still so often.
Yeah, no, I realize I'm trying damn hard right now to get bulky, but it's not working very well. I'm trying. Trying really hard, very, very intentional, so it won't happen on accident. So I started lifting, kind of in the weight room, just getting more consistent, started just kind of figuring everything out for about a year or so, and then I joined this gym probably like a year and a half ago.
Close
almost.
to a year and a half.
Yeah. And like, even though I was still just kind of figuring everything out, like I really did develop a passion for it. I realized that, you know, like being able to shape your body the way that you want is really powerful. It gave me a lot of confidence. Came here, I was definitely inspired by a lot of the competitors here just because there's a great atmosphere. Started a prep the end of April last year. Had probably like a 5.5-ish month prep. Fell in love with it. I knew, I was like, once I started prepping and just putting in all that work, like I knew I loved it. Like I loved the discipline, the grit. Okay, I was like, I'm not gonna commit to it long term until I know I love show day. And then I absolutely fell in love with show day. I competed this last September in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I competed in 3 different classes. I won my true novice class, my novice class, and I got 3rd in my open class. So it was an incredible experience, so much fun. Now I'm in the off season. I'm a little over 6 months into my off season. Just been trying to build. My current goals in the gym is to build my side delts, my glutes and my hamstrings primarily, also a little bit of my lats. So now we wanted to talk a little bit about the different divisions for bodybuilding for women's. So there is bikini, wellness, figure, women's physique, fitness, and bodybuilding. But the main ones y'all probably hear about are bikini, wellness, and figure. When I was getting into it, I didn't really understand much about bodybuilding. I had a little bit of self-awareness when it came to wellness, just because I was like, oh, I have great glutes and hamstrings. I would just need to bring up my quads because my quads don't respond super fast. I was thinking maybe I should try to do wellness. But I realized really quickly how much muscle mass the bikini girls actually have.
Right.
And also your natural physique with extra body fat on doesn't necessarily represent properly what you're gonna look like when you're stage lean. And I realized my body just holds onto a lot of fat in my lower body. So as I leaned out through prep, I kind of realized how small those muscles actually are and how much I need to grow them. So if I tried wellness, I'd probably get laughed off stage. I'd probably get thrown tomatoes at. I'm definitely much more naturally fit for the bikini criteria, which is technically the smallest, but you still gotta have some good muscle mass.
Still have to have muscle, that's right. These girls work extremely hard to gain muscle for bikini. Yeah. I didn't really realize that until just the last couple of years myself. But they work extremely hard lifting weights, lifting really heavy weight too. You would be surprised if you're not familiar with how these girls who train for bikini actually train. You'd be surprised to see the weights that they move around the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to train, like, especially someone like me where my judges' feedback was pretty much just build overall more muscle. You have to be so intentional. Like, all my meals throughout the day are dialed in. I do, follow meal plans, nutrient timing, even in my off season, because off season isn't an excuse to just go out and go back to kind of how you were living before. You're essentially just prepping to prep at that point. Yeah. Every decision I make now is going to either make my next prep, easier, harder, more or less successful. So things like that, I try to develop the same habits and the same lifestyle as in a prep. So that way it's just making a few adjustments and changes, not complete big lifestyle changes. So my nutrients stay the same, like my meals all stay the same, my bedtime, my work schedule, like my workout intensity. If anything, I'd say my workout intensity is probably harder in the off season just because I have that extra energy from the extra food, my recovery's better. And you know, if you're gonna eat more, and I've probably put on almost 20 pounds since stage weight, but when you eat more and you're gaining more, you have to lift heavier, or it's just body fat. And you don't want to be unproductive, because if you go through a prep and you have all this body fat to lose, it's just super aggressive. You risk losing muscle, just makes it really, really challenging on yourself. So off season is very, very, very important. You can't overlook it.
I've seen the discipline that this young lady has. I've watched her progression through the gym from sort of beginning, going through her competition prep, and the amazing change that she made in her physique. So she's somebody really to watch. That's the reason I wanted to do this video of her. I will probably do multiple videos of Laura's training. I hope, if she'll cooperate with us, if she's willing to do it. But today we're going to do a glute workout, right? We're going to go through some of Laura's glute training. She really knows what she's doing. So let's get into the workout and try to learn a few things from this girl.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off my workout. I'll probably spend like half my workout on this thing today, because when you're in a bikini and you really need to focus on your glutes, but not as much your quads, movements like these are gonna be a staple in your workout programming, especially because I really need to build that lower body density, just because my conditioning for my last show, my arms, my core leaned out really fast, but my lower body conditioning did not catch up as fast. So if I build that density, it'll appear leaner, and I probably won't have to get super, super conditioned to the point where I'm losing size in my upper body, things like that, so I can see those muscles. Start off just 2x15 with kind of like a warm-up weight. For these, something that's really helpful I learned is, like, a lot of times girls will have like an arch in their back, kind of recruits more of the lower back to help. I like to make sure my back is touching the seat right there. Your feet will you want them to have a 90 degree when you come up, which I will show in a second. The farther you go out, the more hamstrings. So it's not necessarily wrong, it just depends on what your goal is. Right now my goal is glutes. So making sure my back is straight, your chin is tucked. You're gonna have a double chin, it's gonna be awkward, but you gotta get over it. So little between set farmer's walks, carries, whatever.
Laura's one of the only girls in here that carries around 2 45s at one time.
It's half the workout.
Most of the other young ladies grab 1 45 at a time. Not Laura.
I am not like most.
That's right.
Heaviest one done.
That'll get those glutes.
If this doesn't work, I don't know what will.
Laura, I get asked this question all the time. What do you think's more important, diet or the actual training?
Everything. It's equal. And also recovery. Recovery is the same amount of importance as diet and training as well. But like, if you do one, expect a third of the results. You know, you only put in 1/3. If you do, if you're not recovering, but you're training and you're eating right, you can expect 2/3 of the results. So if you want everything, then you got to go all in on everything. If people can sit and complain and say like, oh, like they're not seeing progress, but they think they're doing everything. But like, we're like, okay, I was like, how many hours of sleep are you getting at night? Like, are you tracking macros? Are you eating right? Like things like that. Like, it's just, if you know something's wrong, but you know, you're not willing to find or the error or what's wrong, like within your training, diet, nutrition, recovery, whatever it is, then just don't expect results. I mean, motivated people find ways. You'll figure it out if you want it enough.
Right.
Or like halfway through my lift, I'll do an intra-carb kind of sip, like 4 ounces or so.
Okay.
Every few minutes. But I sometimes just do Gatorade, but been using like an intra-carb supplement with like dextrose. I mix it with some like electrolytes and glutamine. So just to help fuel me, since my carbs are so high.
Yeah. Can't
hurt. Gonna move on to glute ham raises. So looks kind of intimidating at first, but not that bad. It's great for, it's kind of like, I don't know, sometimes I think of it like almost like a pull-up, but like for your glutes and your hamstrings. But I usually set it kind of to the middle setting. I'm 5'4" for reference, but you'll just hop on. Knees kind of will come into the pad. I like to keep my toes like straight down, and I like to put a lot of pressure in between my toes. Some people say heels. I personally feel it more in my hamstrings if I putting pressure in my toes. Try not to have an arch back like that. It's kind of tempting. It's kind of like a default for some people, but that'll recruit more of your lower back, and we really want to target the glutes and hamstrings on this movement. Get in a good position, have a little slight bend at the knees, and then I'll just keep my arms like this, and I want to come up to parallel. I want my shoulders and my hips to be in line with each other. Sure, use code LAMMY for 10% off.
You guys need to be watching out for Laura in the future. You need to follow her.
Give me a few years, I'll go pro.
She's got a lot of competitions ahead of her, I'm sure.
I like these plates to step on for like a little elevation, because they're kind of like the rubbery, easier to grip with my feet. The hardest part about this exercise is getting the 100-pound dumbbell 4 feet over there.
All right, thanks YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed that workout. Be sure and follow Laura. I think she's going to do great things in the bikini competition realm. I hope you learned a few things. Please leave a comment, ask questions. Be sure and subscribe and like our videos. See you next time.
Thank you guys.